We start tonight at 9 in Iowa City, where a man is accused of driving through a homeless encampment over the weekend, sending 4 people to the hospital. A 5th person was also hurt. Roman Aguilar Ventura is in the Johnson County Jail tonight on more than a dozen charges, including 5 counts apiece of willful injury and assault with a weapon, the weapon being his car. Everyone is out of the hospital tonight. That encampment is right by Shelter House in Iowa City, and officials there say this is just the latest example of violence and aggression towards people just struggling to find places to live. Iowa News Now reporter Faven Zodu is following this story tonight.
The animus towards people in crisis isn't new. I think it is more common to be public about it now.
Right here is where a man drove into an encampment intentionally, not too far from the shelter house in Iowa City. The man injured 5 people, with 4 of them being sent to the hospital. The shelter house says this is a growing concern with hostility towards homeless individuals.
It's a little bit easier to say, as they say the quiet parts out loud. Like I said, we're seeing it across the country. We're seeing hostility towards lots of people who are in crisis, lots of people who don't occupy majority status.
This Facebook post, shared from the shelter, says Iowa only has 2 mental health patient beds for every 100,000 Iowan. That's the worst ratio in America. New shifts from the Trump administration aren't helping either. And Shelter House Director of Development Christine Hayes says we need to find better ways to handle things.
We're seeing legislation that suggests institutionalization and criminalization across the country, whether it's at the national level or at the state level. It's not effective. There is not a single study that I am aware of, and which I'm going to be so bold as to say there isn't a study that exists that suggests that criminalization actually ends homelessness. Right? It only exacerbates the problem.
Shelter House has 70 beds available, but only about a third are funded by a mix of local, state, and federal dollars. The rest is whatever Shelter House can raise themselves. And Hayes says that's just not sustainable in the long term.
We have a generous community, but also ultimately, should it be the community's responsibility for us to rely on individual generosity? What we really should be counting on is a reliable, sustainable source of funding. That's what we're looking for. You don't solve homelessness with shelter, right? You solve homelessness with housing.
In Iowa City, Faven Zodu, Iowa's News Now.
Shelter House is looking for volunteers, so if you want to get involved, we have a link to that on our page under this story on iowasnewsnow.com.